The Russian Ministry of Defense has started stealing funeral payments. Russian families are not receiving compensation for the deaths of their relatives in the special military operation. Soldiers are being sent on assaults without prior preparation for the operation or approval from higher command. The fields near Pokrovsk are strewn with the bodies of dead Russians. Putin got scared of the sanctions. Putin's negotiator went to ask Trump for forgiveness. Snowfall in Buryatia. A new oil slick with 900 tons of fuel oil is drifting toward the coast of Krasnodar Krai. Shusha Sobchak is leaving Russia. Millions of crabs have come out onto the roads in Australia. Hello everyone, my name is Yulia Kort, and this is the program In Trend. Every day we bring you the latest news, show interesting videos, and debunk fakes. Apparently, Russia's Ministry of Defense has discovered a new way to profit from the war without ending up in jail by looting directly on the ground. They've started stealing funeral payouts. A military pensioner from the Lipetsk region said that relatives of killed and wounded Russian soldiers have been reaching out to him.
I've received a lot of additional information about the lawlessness of government officials. The Ministry of Defense, the law enforcement system.
According to him, in the Lipetsk region, servicemen and their families regularly face situations where compensation for injuries simply can't be found. The intended recipients.
This isn't an isolated case, it's not just happening to us. This is what's going on in the Lipetsk region. As I told you before, my friend, after being wounded and coming back from leave, returned home. By the end of his leave, I had also come home from the hospital, also on leave. I asked him, I said, "So Roma, did you get the money for your injury?" He said, "No, I didn't get it." I said, "How did that happen?" He was given 60 days of leave. He wasn't paid. When he went to his regiment to sort things out, he was killed. But after a search, they officially declared him missing in action.
You say, we don't abandon our own. There you have your war, there you have the West attacking. This is a Russian contract soldier from the 15th Separate Guards Motor Rifle Brigade. He signed a contract with the Ministry of Defense in 2024, and now he's lying in a hospital after being wounded by an FPV drone. According to him, the unit is taking such heavy losses that heroism has turned into a mass slaughter, and he himself has completely lost his enthusiasm.
I don't want to fight anymore. I'm just not interested in being there anymore.
He disagrees with the fitness category assigned to him in the hospital and is considering challenging it after he returns. But he doesn't realize that the Kremlin is sending even those with crutches and canes to the front.
Basically, 100 of us went in and only 11 came out. Look, I'm about to be discharged with a Category B. When I'm discharged in Russia, I can go to the prosecutor's office and appeal saying that I need to be transferred.
They sent people into assaults, and only afterwards do they clarify whether soldiers should have even been sent there in the first place. Here's another story from a Russian soldier about the incompetence of commanders who don't care about their personnel, sending people on. Assault operations are carried out without prior preparation for the mission or coordination with higher command.
With this kind of command, with this kind of organization, a third world war is being waged, which will later be called the Special Military Operation of the Third World War in textbooks.
It has happened more than once that a commander would send a group into an assault, and only afterwards he would go to headquarters to clarify the mission.
The commander says, "Go, storm that building, that tree line, that settlement." Meanwhile, I'll go to headquarters, to the command post to find out whether we even need to storm anything here at all, and most importantly, whether there's any need to do anything here at all.
Well, with successes like these, Ukrainian defenders will have less work to do destroying the invaders. Thanks to the command of the Second Army of the world. Well, for now, as they say in Ukraine, we have what we have. The fields and groves of Donbas are literally strewn with the bodies of Russian millionaires. Why millionaires, you might ask? They were promised 1 million rubles for taking part in the assaults.
Look at these fields covered with hundreds of Russian corpses. You can't even walk through here. It's even hard to walk without stepping on something.
Well, you get it. It's such a mess that it's forbidden to show it without a blur. But I think your imagination works just fine. Without armored vehicles, these infantry groups turn into live targets for Ukrainian drones and artillery. Every day they advance along the same routes where their comrades already lie. And every day the story repeats itself. Military analysts and even some in Putin's inner circle are trying to persuade him to stop this senseless slaughter, if only out of pity for his own people. But it seems he has no pity left at all. Only a fanatical willingness to keep covering the fields with more and more bodies. All for the headlines in his federal media claiming they've liberated yet another settlement. Even if there's nothing and no one left there anymore. If you or your acquaintances have relatives or friends whom Putin has sent to war and their situation with command at the front is like this, let us know in the comments. And don't forget to like this video and be sure to subscribe so you don't miss anything interesting. While Russian men lie dead in the fields sent to slaughter for Putin's imperial fantasies, his aides are heading to the US to get called on the carpet. To tell everyone that Russia is not afraid of anything. And of course, more fairy tales about how it's not Russia that doesn't want peace, but Ukraine that's dragging out negotiations and disrupting dialogue.
We see that it's Ukraine that's dragging out the negotiations. It's Ukraine that doesn't want to resolve those problems, those accumulated issues that need to be addressed. And that's why we will also be telling our American colleagues that Ukraine, unfortunately, is disrupting the necessary dialogue and is doing so again at the request of the British, at the request of the Europeans, who want the continuation of the coronavirus.
By the way, for dissent, Mardan could end up in trouble. On air, he spoke about the severe consequences of sanctions against the two largest oil companies in the Russian Federation.
It seems to me that the introduction of sanctions against the two largest Russian oil companies, whose share of the domestic oil production market, according to various estimates, is from 50 to 55%, more than half. I think that more than half of the oil in Russia is produced by Rosneft and Lukoil. This is, in fact, a declaration of war. In other words, stopping the war right now would guarantee enormous security problems for Russia for years, if not decades to come.
For the fact that Russia is being punished for war crimes by the West, the propagandists promised to destroy all major cities in Ukraine.
What happens next, unfortunately, will not please either Ukraine as a nation or the unfortunate residents and citizens of Ukraine, because from this point forward, Ukraine will simply and tragically be bombed relentlessly back into the 18th century. This is something that remarkably has not happened throughout all these many years. The consequences of these actions will be devastating, leaving a lasting impact on the country and its people for generations to come. 3.5 years of war. This means that all energy, all industrial infrastructure, all communications, and all life support systems of major cities will be completely wiped out.
Every voice matters. Join our community, support independent journalism, and help us bring you the truth from Ukraine. Become a member of Ukraine today. Join us now.
Wow, just like that. Those are some serious threats. The Kremlin is very afraid of losing its petrodollars. Once again, it has started threatening the world with nuclear war. Meanwhile, a new oil slick with 900 tons of fuel oil is drifting toward the coast of Krasnodar Krai, toward the shores of Taman and Temryuk.
None of this was there before. It's dumping a lot. Take a look. The whole coastline just drove by, and there was nothing there before. In
Anapa, local activists expect that this oil slick will be even bigger than the previous one, which destroyed all the coastal vegetation, fish, and birds. Putin said to have more children, but in Yakutia, a brave deputy appeared who, during the discussion in the local parliament of the law banning the encouragement of abortions, asked whether he could recommend to his wife not to have a sixth child, for which he was immediately warned about a fine. In
our family, this month, our fifth child and our first grandchild were born, so this question is relevant to me. So let me clarify Andrei Yurievich's question. If my wife decides to get pregnant for the sixth time, and then I say, well, maybe we shouldn't. Yes, a fine. There will be a fine, right?
the governor of the Nizhny Novgorod region has decided to ban vapes and IQOS devices. And he stated that he is waiting for the adoption of the corresponding law, since it is extremely important for the long-term effect on demographics and for promoting a healthy lifestyle. I
would like to note that the President of Russia supported the idea of a complete ban on all smoking devices during the last conversation. And that includes tobacco heating devices, the so-called IQOS. We're also waiting for the adoption of the corresponding law because we believe it is extremely important for the long-term effect on demographics and for communication, promotion, and a healthy lifestyle.
A long-term demographic effect is when you don't send your own people to be slaughtered in another country. Someone please tell Nikitin and his entire entourage about this already. Even Matvienko didn't think about the front, but praised Nikitin for developing demographic policy.
Thank you for the presentation. We've all reviewed it, and for the great work you are doing. And personally, as the head of the region, as governor, you are constantly involved. You are dealing with this issue. Now you've put on the mantle of a leader, and you have to live up to it.
And maintain the standard you've set. Interestingly, even Putin the murderer himself was present at this meeting. I
have to leave, but I'll stay. After all, I'll listen to what you have to say.
Yes, may I? That sounds almost like a summary. The essence of Putin's rule, so what is it? Ksenia Sobchak is leaving Russia. The latent Putin supporter has suddenly applied for a residence permit in Spain. According to reports, her son plans to obtain a residence permit as well. Russian social media channels are writing that the Spanish authorities have allegedly already approved her residence permit until 2028. As part of the Digital Nomad program, which allows you to move to the European Union with your family. In addition to this, Sobchak has registered in Spain as a sole proprietor, and just in case she already has an Israeli passport. Apparently, that's a backup plan in case Europe doesn't let a Kremlin agent in. Meanwhile, in Buryatia, a sudden snowfall reminded drivers that winter still knows how to surprise. Mountain passes are closed there, and the roads are covered with packed snow and ice. Traffic is restricted for buses, heavy trucks, and cars with summer tires. Many people didn't even have time to change their tires. The situation is similar on the Federal Baikal Highway. On the regional roads, snowdrifts are being cleared. In Ulan-Ude, traffic jams have reached 8 points. Police are asking people not to leave the city so as not to become part of this snowy chaos. Meanwhile, on Christmas Island in Australia, the roads have once again turned red because millions of crabs have emerged from the depths of the island, beginning their annual great migration to the ocean. The crabs are unique, and there are more than 100 million of them. Almost the entire area where the crabs live has been declared a national park and is protected by Australian law. American police have come up with an unusual school for future inspectors. People were invited to start drinking at 9 in the morning. The idea is simple. Volunteers come in, consume alcohol, and then take tests on themselves, demonstrating what a drunk driver looks like. In this way, police officers learn to recognize Terry, you need to go buy a double. 20-year-old Briton Daniel Jackson decided to create his own country. Yes, literally in the true sense of the word. With his own rules and laws, he found a piece of no man's land between Croatia and Serbia, according to the documents, and declared it the Free Republic of Verdis. You can only get to Verdis by water. Today, this small state has everything just like the big ones. It has a coat of arms and a constitution, a cabinet of ministers, and even 400 citizens, though, to be fair, they're online. That's it. Now they can print flags and passports. No country has recognized this micronation yet, but anything is possible. It's something incredible, and I think this video will make you think about it too. Let's watch.